Hello, and welcome to this introductory video on the use of Retscreen Expert. My name is Miles McDonald. Now, there are a number of software tools available to assist you in predicting the performance of various renewable energy technologies. Some, like this one, PV Watts, are online tools and they're available for free use. That's not bad. Some, like Retscreen or Homer, used to be free, but they now offer a limited version for free. Their offerings are more like those of companies like PVSys, which has a limited demo model and a price tag for the real thing. Now, these commercially available modeling tools come with various capabilities. Some of them can help you plan out your physical layout in a sort of AutoCAD-light fashion, while others, like Retscreen, stick to the calculation of energy transformed, energy saved, energy used, and then translate those metrics into the financial effects of any plant build-out. This video is meant to introduce electrical engineering technician students to the Retscreen Expert software and its use with solar PV technologies. This video is being made in December 2016. Just a few months ago, in the autumn of 2016, Retscreen moved to a fully Windows.NET based platform, eliminating the need for Microsoft Excel. Retscreen Expert, as it's now called, is a for-profit, quote, professional mode, unquote, software. We'll be using the demo model of the software for this tutorial. This version is available for free download, but any files you create in the free version cannot be saved. Kind of makes the case for your print screen key and Word or Google Docs or something like that. So, the first step in our odyssey is to find and download the software. Well, you do a search for Retscreen and you find Natural Resources Canada. Click on Natural Resources Canada, and depending on the speed of your internet, you get this screen, Natural Resources Canada, download Retscreen Expert. Follow the idiot guide, download and save the file, and execute the executable file. Continue following the instructions and install the software. I've already done that, so I'm going to close the browser, not needed anymore. And I'm going to open Retscreen Expert. And this is what I get. It says, please pay money. Well, no, not today, thanks. I'm going to continue in viewer mode. And there's a couple of things that I want to show you on this home screen for Retscreen Expert. There is Virtual Energy Analyzer. There are the worksheets, the analysis type worksheets, my portfolio, which we're not going to really get into, and facility types. The first thing I want to talk about are these worksheets. You've got benchmark, and you notice on our central continuous circle, diagrammatic circle, up in the top right quadrant, benchmark is highlighted when I hover over the benchmark button. It has location and facility marked on it. The executables for these are up here, location and facility. If I hover over feasibility, that encompasses benchmark, but then the next two quartiles as well, feasibility. So you identify your location and the ability of that location to show sunshine, and then how much energy you can produce from that sunshine and the financial ramifications of that. Next is performance. Performance is interesting. This button essentially takes over the Retscreen Plus function and asks us to collate our performance data, analyze that performance data, and report on performance. It then moves to compare actual performance to predicted or optimal performance, and you're challenged to move to a continual improvement cycle. It's a good thing to do. Right. if I click on the benchmark button, up in the top left, I have location details to fill in, and I've got facility details to fill in. Report. If I move back and I click on feasibility, I get location and facility, but I also get energy, cost, etc. Let's move back to the home screen. I want to continue there. Over on the far right, power plants. These are generators, electricity generators for our purposes. They are wind generators, solar generators, diesel generators, any kind of generators, you're going to find them in here. They're power plants. Below that, buildings and factories. You've got industrial, commercial, residential, you get the idea. These are for energy use optimization for different types of enterprises. We're not going to go there, but it's demand management in a nutshell. Right, now our immediate task in this tutorial is to perform an initial assessment of a small solar installation at a specific location. And I happen to have just such a toy. 20 kilowatt solar photovoltaic system. We're going to put it in Oakville. We're going to use crystalline photovoltaic panels. We're going to put it on a ground mount installation, just like this picture. We're going to put it on a fixed mount, just like this picture. And we expect it to be there for the next 40 years. So, let's click on feasibility again. And the first thing we have to do is select our climate data location. So we click on that, and this is what comes up. It identifies all the climate collation locations throughout the world. This is our part of the world. Let's center that a little more, and if I use my roller on my mouse, I can focus in a little bit more, and here we are. We're in Oakville. There's a station in Burlington. There's a couple of them in Toronto, 3 of them. But if I click on Burlington, double click on Burlington, over here Burlington Piers shows up on our site reference conditions, along with its exact location. So why did I choose Burlington Piers? Well, it's close to the lake. We're close to the lake. The lake is to the east of our location. It's to the east of Burlington Piers. Does that matter? Well, prevailing wind is from the southwest, so Burlington Piers more accurately mimics the conditions that we would face. So this is as close an approximation of our sunshine and weather conditions as we're likely to get. So that's why I chose that location. Good. Up here, top right, I type in the location or the proposed location for our solar plant. Search it out. Let's move out a little bit, and that's pretty nondescript. Let's go to the satellite picture. That's better. This building here, as of the time of this video, is the Skills Training Center for Sheridan College in Oakville. Right next to it is a field. Very convenient. We can put our theoretical plant there. Like all these details, so I accept those details. And we're back on to the location screen. If I scroll down, there are a number of parameters that we will eventually be getting into later in the course. But for now, I want to focus on this one. Daily solar radiation, horizontal. That means how much of this stuff actually hits the ground on every square meter. How many kilowatt hours per square meter per day? Kilowatt hours per square meter per day is the same thing as saying peak sun hours. In January, on an average day, we will get 1.54 peak sun hours every day, on average. You get the idea. Here it is in a graph format. Apparently we get more sun in the summer than we do in the winter. Facility. We're going to put in the details for our plant. 20 kilowatt. By the way, kilowatt, small k, because it's a descriptor. Watt is what it is. It's watts. Prepared for yours truly. Prepared by my minion. Oh, that's also me. Facility name, we're going to call that the Skills Training Center Solar Plant. And the address is 407 in Oakville. Down here, we've got benchmark for power plants. Different power plants have got different economic metrics. We're not going to bother with that at this point. We are going to move on because that's not the focus of our journey. Down here, we can click to go to the next screen, energy. We can do the exact same thing up here. And here's our energy model. Natural gas. That is not us. Where are we getting our power? We are getting it from photovoltaics. That's better. Low details on this metrics. Let's expand that a little bit. Level 2, there we go. Solar tracking mode. Fixed, 1 axis, 2 axis. What does that mean? 1 axis comes up in the morning. We're pointing left, tracks it over to the right, goes down in the evening. That's single axis, left to right. 2 axis continues going left to right, morning to evening, but now in the winter it points lower to the horizon. In the summer, points higher in the sky because the sun is higher in the sky in the summer. That is a 2-axis tracking system. We're going to stay with fixed for simplicity. Slope. I'm going to put in 0 for slope and azimuth. A 0 slope means that our solar panels are going to be parallel to the earth. They're going to lie flat, horizontal. We're going to come back to that, by the way. What kind of technology are we going to use? Well, we could use cadmium telluride, cadmium indium selenide, I'm mispronouncing that, monosilicon, polysilicon, spherical silicon, amorphous silicon. We're going to stick with mono. Let's go to our database. I'm going to go to Canadian Solar for no good reason other than I happen to know that they do have a 200 watt panel. And since this plant is not real, I can simply plug in a bunch of zeros and I get a 20 kilowatt system without too much brain damage. I accept those changes. Retscreen Expert populates a number of these cells for me, and I come down to miscellaneous losses. You want to be an electrician, you better know how to calculate line losses and such things. I'm going to plug in a number, 3%. If you are this far on your Retscreen model, then you already know, you've got a schematic, a rough idea of what you're going to be using. So you know the inverter you're going to use. You look at the nameplate on the inverter and it tells you that it is 97% efficient. Capacity of that inverter, well, it's a 20 kilowatt inverter. From the inverter to the grid, what other line losses are there? Well, we're going to be pretty close to our meter. Let's put it at 1%. How much is this thing going to cost us? Well, economics change. Supply and demand definitely changes. At this point in time, I'm going to say that it's $1.20 a watt. It can go a little lower, it can go a lot higher. But $1.20 a watt, how much is that in kilowatt terms? Better multiply by 1,000. 1200. Where did we go here? 1200, and that gives us $24,000 for a 20 kilowatt system. Operating and maintenance. Operating and maintenance, O&M costs. How much is it going to cost us to maintain this thing day in, day out, year in, year out, and put a little bit aside on the off chance that the inverter pooches out in year 15 or year 20, whatever the number is? Well, let's call that 10 cents. That's $100 per kilowatt. So we're going to say that our budget is about $2,000 a year for operating and maintenance costs. Megawatt hours. We're going to be able to deliver 24.1 megawatt hours to the grid. But they pay us in kilowatt hours. How many kilowatt hours in a megawatt? Better still be 1,000. Let's find out. There you go. 24,087. There was a rounding there. 24,000 kilowatt hours. And there's our revenue for this. Nice. That is where we stop for Retscreen Expert. But there's something else I want to point out for you. This is what used to be Retscreen. This is Retscreen 4. We're going to use method 2, which coincides with level 2, same thing. I have already chosen the exact same climate data location. So we've got 3.59 peak sun hours every day on average for an average year. This is what we would collect with our solar array. But we've got a zero slope. Let's change that to a 10-degree slope. In other words, it's going to be not horizontal to the ground, but tilted up so that it is facing slightly south. Oh, look at that. Our peak sun hours just bumped up. Well, that's pretty good. Let's try that again. Let's make it 20 degrees. Oh, we've bumped up again, 3.97. This, incidentally, is what is known as scenario analysis. Let's keep going. 30 degrees. Still bumps up. 4.04 peak sun hours on an average day on an average year. Nice. Let's try 40. Oh, whoops. That's dropped down. That's no good. Better go back to 30. All right. Something else. July. 5.66 peak sun hours on an average day on an average year for every day in July. December. Average December day, 2 peak sun hours. What if I change this and make it 35 degrees? Well, no change down here. It's still 4.04 peak sun hours on an average day on an average year. But look at July. It's lower. Look at December. It's higher. What we've done is we've pointed the array more towards the southern horizon, more towards the winter sun, less towards the summer sun. Does that matter? Well, yes, depending on the purpose of your array. Are you going to put it on a cottage in the Muskokas? And are you only going to use that cottage in the summer? Well, what do you need the winter for? Are you going to use it in the winter? You're an ice fisherman. Well, what do you need it in the summer for? You get the idea. Different circumstances demand different setups. And that is the use of slope. What about, let's go to Azimuth. We're pointing directly due south. There's a big honking building just to the east of us, and it throws a shadow. Do I want to be pointing due south? Well, we're not getting anything in the summer or in the morning. So let's point it a little more towards the west. If I point it a little more towards the west, this number drops down, but we're not actually going to be getting the full use of the morning anyways. So you need to point it so you more fully collect what's in the afternoon. What I'm trying to point out here is that shading matters. Dirt matters. other localized influences matter when it comes to sizing and pointing your array. Something else important to know about azimuth: magnetic North Pole is different than true north. Also, it's important to know that the magnetic North Pole does move and change relative to true north. So when you're using a compass to determine the direction, a correction must be applied so that true north and true south are accurately identified. Okay. That, in a nutshell, is how you draft a financial performance model of a solar photovoltaic plant in Retscreen Expert. Now, like any model, the quality of your prediction will depend on the accuracy of your inputs. Garbage in, garbage out. Plan well. Thanks for watching.